Hello and welcome to these 3 near-death experience stories found on Reddit. I almost died. Bit short of a story but still intense in my opinion. So back when I 24M lived in Mesa, Arizona, I was hanging out with a friend of mine, we will call him Joe. We decided to go to a bar. As we got there, Joe had already started talking to random women since he is a self-proclaimed smooth talker. A couple hours go by and I am talking to this very beautiful and kind lady when a fight breaks out between Joe and, as we learned a while later, some lady's boyfriend. I notice that Joe is being jumped by this guy and 2 friends, and I quickly rush to help as best as I can, but in the end we both got very injured. After a long process of dealing with security and cops, we were allowed to leave and go home. On our way we notice a car that has been following us for a while now, but we noticed way too late as they begin jumping out of the car and rushing us with knives. I received 2 stab wounds, one on my forearm and the other on my hip. Joe, thankfully, was uninjured as the cops happened to be close by and quickly intervened and the men were arrested. We soon found out the men from the car were the same ones from the bar and had ties to gang in Mesa, Arizona. I witnessed my wife's near-death experience. I wish I could put into words the fear that took a grip over my heart that day and hasn't let go since. We were near the top of a mountain in Colorado, had stopped at a roadside turnout to take a few pictures. I climbed out the driver's seat after engaging the parking brake, and made my way to the other side of the van to take a look at the view. My wife hadn't gotten out the vehicle yet, so I turned around to look and see what she was doing. The van began to roll forward. And forward, and forward. It wasn't slowing down, as is the nature of gravity. I reached out to grasp something on the van, as if my strength could stop a moving vehicle, but my fingers merely grazed the sheet metal. Before I even realized I was running after it. It was all futile actions, but I couldn't stop myself. I was running with all my strength, speed, endurance I could muster as I watched my wife carry on down the hill at greater and greater speed. By her own quick thinking and action, she was able to climb over the center console located directly in between the driver's and passenger's sides, adjust the wheels, apply the brakes. Able to stop the van from continuing further down the mountain and into the gaping gorge that lie below. When I finally reached her, we were both quite shaken. Some people who had been nearby were very kind and checked in on us to make sure we were both okay. I'll forever be incredibly grateful of those people that were right there. God's ends, each of them. My wife and I embraced, tighter than we ever had. Longer than I expected, even. 7 years later and we still value each other so dearly. I still feel that fear inside me from so long ago. I fear losing her in any way, but that was one I did not expect. A lesson I've learned is to cherish the moments you have together, and maybe it wouldn't hurt to get your parking brake inspected before any major road trips. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I nearly died. Last December, my wife and I had gone out to dinner with some dear lifelong friends at the most popular new Italian bistro in our area. The meal was spectacular, the conversation was exceptional, and it was a splendid evening. We left and were driving home. I was driving. As I steered our car off of the main thoroughfare onto the side street leading to our neighborhood, I started to experience tunnel vision, shortness of breath and a feeling of emptiness in my chest. I was in mid-turn under a traffic light. I steered towards a convenience store parking lot and hissed to my wife to take me to the fire station as I slid over to her side of the seat. I had just gotten an Apple Watch and looked down and pushed the ECG button. I had an overwhelming urge to take off my shirt and get out of the car to walk around. My wife screamed at me to stay in the car as she ran around to get in the driver's seat. My chest felt like it was a vacuum trying to pull air in as my tunnel vision got worse. Somehow I kept my index finger on the crown of that watch. My wife hot-footed to the fire station. It was between where we were and our house and was a lot closer than the nearest hospital. She floored it. 2-minute ride. I kind of blacked out but not really, rather like twilight anesthesia. I couldn't speak and could see myself as if I was looking down through the roof of the car. I could see the street lights and bushes fly by. I could hear her crying to me. I couldn't react. She pulled into the parking lot of the fire station and got out of the car and ran inside. It seemed like she was gone for a half an hour. I pushed to watch buttons again and sat there. Slowly, however, the tunnel vision started clearing up and the inverse pressure in my chest subsided and I could take full breaths again. By the time the EMT guys got to me, 1 minute after my wife exited the car, and put an ECG on me, my readings were normal. We went to the hospital and they looked at the download from my watch. I had been in sustained ventricular tachycardia for almost 4 minutes with a heart rate of 230 beats per minute. When I asked my doctors what that meant, they said, "There isn't an explanation as to why you're alive. This is universally fatal and the spontaneous return to normal rhythm that was captured on my watch defied explanation. Now I've got a pacemaker. My doctor says he never met me before and he hoped I knew that every day is gravy. I'll take it."